Did the Canucks make a mistake by choosing JT Miller over Bo Horvat? Well, one thing is certain, you've made no mistake by choosing to listen to Begsy, that's me, and Bhawan, the hosts of Locked On Canucks, your team every day.
Your Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks for hitting the play button on today's episode of Locked On Canucks. My name is Trevor Beggs, Canucks writer and part-time credentialed media member for Daily Hive Vancouver. And before we dive into the show, we want to thank you for listening to Locked On Canucks, your team every day. Subscribe or follow for free on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. And as always, I'm joined by my co-host, one of Surrey, BC's finest, Kyle Bhawan. How are you doing today?
Hey, I like that one, man. One of Surrey, BC's finest. Again, let us know if you're watching this from Surrey. Let us know in the comments below. We didn't get no comments with that question yesterday. Maybe we have no fans from Surrey, which is a damn shame. But hey, one step at a time. Again, my name Kyle Bhawan, but it's not a Kyle Bhawan show. It's a Canuck show. Let's get right into it, okay? I got a phone call yesterday from a good friend. His name starts with a T. He's one of the biggest Canucks fans I know. Ironically, he's from Surrey as well, and he's over it. He's over all the Bo Horvat love. For real, because the comparison is always going to be there, right? Because the Canucks made the decision to pick JT Miller over Bo Horvat. People got mad. People got really mad. We saw what happened a month and change ago. Actually, when did Horvat get traded? It feels like 6 or 7 weeks ago. He's gone.
It was January 30th, I believe.
Okay,
We're pushing 2 months.
We're pushing 2 months. He's gone, and the comparisons again are happening. Blah, blah, blah. Horvat over Miller. Miller over Horvat. Let's settle it right now, okay? Who would you rather have? And let's look into next season, okay, with the contracts, with the dollar amount. Who would you rather have? Would you rather have Horvat at 8.5 or JT Miller at 8?
Yeah, I think when you break it down in terms of those numbers, and again, it's 8.5 years, 8.5 years, 8 years at 8.5 for Bo Horvat, and 7 years at 8 million for JT Miller. JT Miller is 2 years older than Bo Horvat. So JT Miller's deal expires at age 37, Bo Horvat's at age 36. That's beating around the bush a bit because I think the simple answer is you'd rather have JT Miller at that number than Bo Horvat. There's a lot of statistics to suggest that Bo Horvat is having an outlier season. He is not a 50 goal scorer. He is a very solid 30 to 35 goal, 60 to 65 point guy. But is that the kind of guy you want to be paying $8.5 million to? No, it's not. The Islanders, much like the Canucks right now, seem like they're going to be stuck in mediocrity for a while. But unlike the Canucks, the Islanders are old. They are an old team. And signing Bo Horvat into his 30s is not really going to help that situation. The Canucks, on the other hand, even though they've got JT Miller signed for more money and longer than they should, they are at least a younger team. And again, they're spearheaded by two of the best young players in the NHL, in Elias Pettersson and Quinn Hughes. And if you missed us talking about their brilliance, check out yesterday's episode of Locked On Canucks. Kyle, I got quite a few notes on this JT versus Bo debate, but where are you leaning on this?
Oh, man. And I think this is the problem with the dynamic between you and I, Trevor, okay? Because I think we agree on too many things, for real. And we're a sports show, right? 2023. These things only work when we're going at it. But, dude, we're not going at it today because, again, I'm with you. JT Miller is a way better hockey player than Bo Horvat. I think he's on another tier, maybe 1 or 2 tiers above Bo Horvat. And I'm basing that off of consistency when it comes to putting up points, being a difference maker. JT Miller's been doing it for a couple years longer. It feels like that. Again, nothing really against Bo Horvat. It's just that JT Miller is just a tier above, especially in the offensive category. And I got to say it because I'm trying to put that hope out in there, okay? For real. Last couple days, right? We being a little negative, okay? We got Trevor Beggs here, part-time media member, okay? Part-time media member. He's embracing it. Vancouver media member. He got the devil horns on, right? Going after the team all the time. And sometimes that stuff kind of like bleeds into me and I get a little sad and more pessimistic and I'm talking to you guys and just giving you guys that negative BS all the time. Dude, JT Miller's here to stay. Leave JT alone. We don't have to make this guy into a Selke winner. Let him do his thing. That being said, I think Rick Tocchet is going to continue to do a lot of things for his game.
Yeah, and you mentioned, good old Beggsy over here being the negative media
Yeah.
guy now, and I do want to say that, I think the would you rather between Miller and Horvat, I'd be choosing Miller, no question. That being said, I still probably would have traded them both. I think that was the right move for the Canucks. JT Miller's value was at his highest last year at the trade deadline. That's when they should have offloaded him. That being said, I think it's not as black and white as we want to think it is. It's really easy to say trade JT Miller, get a haul,
Mhm.
trade Bo Horvat, get a haul. But this team probably knows Quinn Hughes and Elias Pettersson better than us. Like maybe Pettersson wouldn't have resigned if the Canucks just completely traded away two of their best players for futures. We don't know that.
Yo,
So
maybe. I know this is like stretching it and just making something up, but maybe, just maybe, he is also pissed off if the Canucks run away from a 99-point player last
mhm.
season. You know what I'm saying?
It's entirely possible, and you and I will
Because
never know.
we'll never know. But again, this is the same team that when they went to the bubble with Pedersen doing everything right, they got rid of everyone. Marsham, Tanev, Stetcher, Toffoli. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Could they have afforded to do that to Petey and Hughes again? Maybe, because it would be justified because there wouldn't be no like on ice success. Now we're just I gotta bleep that out. Now we're just pulling strings and whatnot. It's one of those things. But this whole Horvat versus Miller thing, I think even with Horvat when he was here, he was scoring goals, 50-goal pace, 60-goal pace, doing his thing, having a career year. While on his way to becoming a UFA, just got to add that in there, okay? It's the truth. It's the truth. That UFA bump. Even though he was doing all those things, I just can't get close to putting them together because JT Miller is a different type of player, different style of player, and he just adds more value to the game. And I know you gotta be able to do things on both ends of the ice, but if you want to bring that into the debate, Horvat's not really running away with that too, you know? So
Yeah,
so
yeah,
this debate is easy. It's Miller over Horvat.
yeah. I think it's very clear that Miller is a more high risk, high reward player. Bo Horvat is a safer player.
True.
That being said, the guy that you want to give the money to is the high risk, high reward player. Bo Horvat isn't going to hit 99 points at any point in his NHL career. Now, JT Miller might never get there again, but he is close to a point per game right now. And I know people are throwing out numbers how Bo Horvat isn't really putting up many points at the Islanders. I will say that Bo Horvat's defensive impact on the Islanders has been much better. And, maybe it's part of it is playing in a better system. But I think the Islanders went like 12 games where Bo Horvat wasn't on the ice for a shorthanded goal against. So he's been a really good penalty killer. He's been absolutely munching minutes right now, especially with Matt Barzal out of the lineup. The defensive metrics are looking good. His actual goal on ice goals for isn't looking so good, but the defensive metrics are good. But again, this guy, he's at a half point per game right now, and he's going to be making $8.5 million a season. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Um,
A lot
yeah,
of
with
money.
JT Miller, I think to justify that $8 million a year contract, you'd like him to be, a really high end second line center for the Vancouver Canucks.
Mhm.
Not to say he can't be an $8 million player as a top line winger. That's fair market value, but he's got to continue doing that. And even though he's taken some steps under Tocchet, I still want to see more, especially at even strength. So on the season, JT Miller has 1.47 points per 60. That is a very average third line rate. And under Rick Tocchet, that hasn't really changed. It's up to about 1.6 points per 60, which is about a high end third line rate, low end second line rate. So even though Miller's been contributing on the power play and shorthanded, I still want to see more points from him at even strength. There's got to be more of a bottom line for Miller for a player making that much money.
There's a lot of truth to that. A lot of truth to that. And I think you can't just rely on this guy being a power play specialist and only doing things when he's paired up with Hughes and Pedersen and whatnot. Yeah, he has to do a lot more without them. And this debate, this argument is a wash if, again, going into next season, for the entirety of next season, JT Miller is the number 2 center. I think we had concerns pretty much through like the first 40, 50 games of this season if he could actually do it, because he's never really been able to actually do it. But there's that chance that Tocchet can have him doing so. And I think you brought up the fancy stats, right? You brought up the fancy stats. He's not really moving the needle that much when it comes to the numbers with Tocchet playing center, but there's that chance, and we need that. We need that to happen. Okay. I think a big big reason why I'm putting this optimism in the air is because after yesterday's episode, all that negativity, all that it was a tense episode, bro. It was like, yo, who cares what Pedersen is doing? Who cares what Hughes is doing? Who cares, man? History for what? It
That
doesn't
was a
matter.
Monday episode for
Nothing
sure.
matters. Nothing matters, bro. Nothing matters. Dude, after all that negativity, it's in me to just put it out there that again, the reality is that this team is bought in for next season. Whether you like it or not, whether you want the team to rebuild or not, dude, going into next season, they have to win. They have to win. And the only way they're going to do that is if JT Miller is a prominent, everyday number 2 setter. And if he can do that, bro, he's a 1B. He's not a 2A. He's a 1B.
Yeah, 100%. Before we get to the latter half of the show here, where I do want to talk about two of the hottest teams in the NHL who are meeting tonight, and the Canucks fading Connor Bedard odds. I also want to touch on our tank commander of the week. But before we do that, Kyle, I do want to ask you quick. We kind of talked about JT versus Bo. Who would you rather have at that dollar value? But would you have preferred seeing them both traded, or are you content that it's the Canucks chose one of them?
Oh my God, look at this negative media guy right here, bro. How many episodes have we done already? You probably know the answer already. You're just trying to stir this up again. You know the answer. I'm trying to move forward, okay? I'm trying to look forward to next season, okay? Hronek started skating
You
today.
spent the entire
Hronek
3-week
started skating
history
today,
of this
okay?
show.
Hronek started skating today. We know what it is, right? We know what it is. We're gonna draft 13th overall, 14th overall. It is what it is. We're capped out next season, right? We're gonna be cap compliant, right? Obviously, you know what Alvin said that I was kind of confused. Like, okay, obviously you got to be cap compliant because it's the NHL, it's not, come on, bro. It's not like somebody avoiding their taxes or something, bro. You got to do it. Okay. Anyways, they're bought in next season. I'm trying to just look forward to just winning hockey games next season. Okay. So Trevor, don't give me that bait. Okay. Get to the break, dude. Get to the,
Speaking of Alvin, you gave a really perfect non-answer there. So
yeah,
good
course,
job, Kyle,
dude.
doing your best Patrick
course,
Alvin impression.
You were just trying to walk me down a path to hell, dude, for real.
I think you spent 3 weeks of the show saying leave JT alone. So I thought that was your setup to talk about how great JT is. But now we know the truth. Now we know the truth. Kyle wanted to see them both traded. It makes sense.
Okay, whatever, man. Move on.
All right. Before Kyle and I yell at each other in our next segment, we need to tell you that the midway point of the NBA season is here, and now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Then you can bet on everything from money line to point scores to threes drained. Now, usually during this segment, I kept talking about the Portland Trail Blazers and what I was planning to do, but they are a freaking sad sack team right now. And I just, I can't even bet on them right now. I got to look at somewhere else in the NBA. Kyle, maybe your Golden State Warriors. Maybe I'm putting some bets on them. I know they're still kind of in that mushy middle. They're not really running away with things. So
it's the Western Conference in the NBA. Why is this happening in the world of sports? Why did the Western Conference and the NHL and the NBA just suck? Who knows?
Hey, maybe everyone in the Eastern Conference in both the NBA and NHL will beat each other up, and you'll see some Western Conference champions this year. But if you do decide to bet on the Golden State Warriors or any other NBA team, FanDuel lets you combine your chance for a bigger payout with same game parlay. So don't miss your chance to get your no sweat first bet up to $1,000 in bonus bets when you go to FanDuel.com/lockedon. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon to learn more. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA.
100%. Go make some bets, play responsibly, change your lives, pay off some debt. And again, just do it responsibly, okay? FanDuel. FanDuel.
And speaking of bets, Kyle, between the Vegas Golden Knights and the Vancouver Canucks tonight, who would you be putting money on to win? Because we got two of the hottest teams in the NHL going head to head, baby. We got the both teams are actually 8-2 over their last 10 games. And now I will say I've covered quite a few games for the Canucks this season. I think maybe around 10. My goal is to cover about a quarter of them. I'm actually going to the game tonight as part of the media, but I've been to one game this year as a fan. And you know the game, Kyle. You and I went to it. It was Vegas and Vancouver back in November, where Vancouver had a lead after 2 and absolutely squandered it in the third period.
Yep.
So I don't know. I'm not saying this it's going to be a revenge game necessarily, but just what are your thoughts going into tonight? Again, two of the hottest teams in the NHL going head to head.
I think we're going to see a continuation of what Pedersen is trying to do. Now we're going to see it against an elite team. I think he's going to bring a lot to the table today and put up some more points. I think he's on like one of those heaters that's going to last the rest of the way. It's similar to, you know how Connor McDavid picks up 2 to 3 points every game? I think no matter what, Pedersen's going to pick up 1 to 2 points every game the rest of the way. So I think we're going to see something from Pedersen, maybe something from Kuzmenko. We're going to see a lot from Demko. He's on fuego. He's on fuego. He knows how to play Vegas, for real. I know the team's changed a lot, but he feels his way. He feels his way when he's playing Vegas. All in all, though, I really hope the Canucks lose today.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of revenge, I think it's
Oh,
Thatcher
man.
Demko who's probably going to want revenge most because I think, remember that game? I believe like Thatcher Demko was on a bit of a heater. He was playing pretty well. And then it was in that third period where the goals just started coming. And so actually, I'm looking at the box score right now. A bit of a mistake. So Vancouver was trailing 2-1 after 2 periods, after 2 late goals from Mark Stone and William Carrier. Bo Horvat. Oh, yeah. Then the Canucks scored 3 straight early in the third to take a 4-2 lead, and then
Yeah,
blew it, giving up 3 straight in the third. So yeah, it was a back and forth kind of game, and I know Thatcher Demko wasn't happy with how the game ended. Especially since it was one of those nights as well where Canucks were getting outshot, getting outplayed. Demko stood strong, and then everything just kind of fell apart in the last 15 minutes there. So I think you're right to expect a big game from Thatcher Demko, and probably expect big games from him the rest of the way because this is Canucks hockey, baby. They're going to win meaningless games in March.
oh, yeah.
And then we're again going to talk about how this might be better next season. So,
Okay,
um,
let's take a step back. And I don't have the screen grab because there's a couple swear words on that screen grab, and we can't do that here on Locked On Canucks. But somebody went right after Trevor, right? Trevor's, openly stating, tweeting, writing down, meaningless games or winning meaningless games. None of this matters, blah, blah, blah. And somebody goes after you and says, F you. How do you think like that? Typical media member, professional athletes do not have that in their body. Like nothing is meaningless to them. Every game matters. It's been like that since they were babies, which is probably true. The professional athlete, I would say 90% of them have a different level of competitive nature to them. 100%. These games do matter to the players playing in the game. 100%. 100%. That being said, do you wish, and I don't know how this would bode well with the locker room, but I feel as if guys like Pedersen and Hughes, they're smart guys. Do you wish that Tocchet and Alvin and the brass would get together and make it a priority to play these guys less?
100%. And this is one of the things that doesn't make any sense right now. And I told that commenter who was, dropping F bombs at me that, obviously the players don't think it's a meaningless game. The players are going to play. They're professional athletes. They're going to play hard. They're going to try hard. Tanking doesn't involve the players on the ice. It involves management and coaching and doing what you can to weaken the team from that angle. And again, you look at what Pedersen, Miller, and Hughes are playing right now, and it's ridiculous. There's no reason Hughes should be playing 25 plus minutes a night. There's no reason that Pedersen and JT Miller should be playing 21, 22 minutes a night. It doesn't make sense right now. Play your 4 lines, roll guys out there evenly, and just see what happens. It's a time of year where nothing matters. It doesn't. Maybe it matters to Hughes and Pedersen personally to pile their accolades, but I don't think it matters that much. I think at the end of the day, they want what's best for the team long term. They're not really thinking about their individual statistics. So yeah, I'd like to see Thatcher Demko play a little less. They've been rolling him out like no tomorrow. I'd like to see Pedersen, Hughes, and Miller, their limits all limited, and start playing some of the younger guys. Let's see more Kravtsov. Let's see some Aiden McDonough in the lineup. Call up Jack Rathbone. Let's see some younger guys play because, again, it's not about wins and losses right now. It's about development. And in fact, all these wins are hurting the Canucks. Let's be real.
That's true. And sorry to cut you off there. You just didn't mention RT Bands. I'm like, dude, Trevor, you're from. Come on, man.
He'll get his chance, but it's going to be next season. It's going to be next season. He's
Sorry,
going to play NHL games. I 100% believe that. It's just not going to be this year.
He's going to play this year. Let's do it for Surrey. And yeah, man, I think there would be more meaning in these games if they got more young guys involved, and maybe that doesn't have to necessarily mean that they have to call up players and maybe disrupt what's happening in Abbotsford, because that matters. That matters. Like the development, their playoff run, being one of the best teams in the AHL, maybe keeping that group together is important. But you said it. Play the other guys: Podkolzin, Kravtsov, McDonough. Maybe once in a while, just call up a couple guys, switch it up, and let's see what they can bring to the table. Let's see what a couple games this season can do for them going into training camp next season or again in the AHL playoffs. That just don't you think that's what the fans want too? But it's not what the fans want, right? It's not what the fans want. It's about the fundamentals, man. It's about the
The
fundamentals.
fundamentals, and one guy I didn't mention that I want to see more of is Christian Wolanin, and I'm gonna tell you why I want to see more Christian Wolanin on our final segment here on Locked On Canucks. But before I do that, Kyle, I want to tell you that I'm feeling healthier, man. It's been over a month since I went to Bali. The dad bod was growing. I had a little too many beers in my system. But now that I've been back home for over a month and I've started eating more Built Bar, I'm feeling like $1,000,000, baby. And no, Kyle, if you want to eat healthier but don't want to compromise great taste, then
Are you
man,
calling me
I've got
fat?
just
Are
the
you
thing for
calling me?
you.
Are you calling me fat? Are you calling me fat?
No,
Is
I'm
that what
just
you
saying
said?
if you want to eat healthy and don't want to compromise great
Okay.
taste, then I got something for you. That's all.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
all.
Cool.
I know you can bicep curl at least like 20 to 25 pounds per arm, so that's nice.
Keep it going. Built bar.
Built Bar. So what makes Built Bars so good? Well, for starters, they are covered in 100% real chocolate. That's right, real chocolate. And they come in unbelievably good flavors like churro, peanut butter brownie, and coconut almond. I'm not sure how Built does it, but these bars taste like a candy bar while maintaining amazing macros. And what's even better is that they are healthy. Only 130 calories and 4 grams of sugar with a whopping 17 grams of protein. You can order your favorite flavor today of Built Bars at built.com.
Wow. Tremendous, man. Go get those bars. Do yourself a favor. And yeah, that churro flavor. That's just it. For real. For real. For real.
Yeah,
Locked on Canucks every day. Trevor Beggs, Kyle Bowen. Do you want to talk about Christian Wolanin? How do you say his name?
Christian Wolanin. So this is one of our segments that we wanted to get rolling here, especially before the season ends, and it's the tank commander of the week. Now, the Canucks have been winning way too many games right now, but one guy that I saw putting in a good effort to help lose some games was Christian Wolanin. I know based on the hockey, I think it's like hockey stats. I don't have it in front of me anymore, but it's basically an aggregator site that takes in all the analytics from the most recent games. And over the weekend, the worst Canuck was by far Christian Wolanin, and that matched the eye test for me as well. I mean, against the LA Kings, this guy was hemmed in his zone all night long. It was a bad night for a lot of Canucks, but it was
All of them.
especially a bad night for Christian Wolanin. Look, I know this guy can produce offense. He's definitely got the offensive floor to be a third pairing NHL defenseman. But my goodness, I did not like his defensive performance, his positioning, at his battle level. I didn't like it at all over the weekend. Against the LA Kings, his expected goals differential was 7.8%. 7.8%. This guy was on the ice for 16 chances against for and only 3-4. It was a bad night for a lot of Canucks, but again, Christian Wolanin, he was trying extra hard to help the Canucks lose that game. So for that, he gets this edition of Locked On Canucks Tank Commander of the Week.
Dude, I thought you were gonna send him a box of chocolates. Thank you, man. Thank you. You know what? I've been watching him play, and I actually mess with him. I think he's got I don't want to use the word special because that might be like putting way too much on him, but there's something different about him, and I think a lot of it has to do with the way he skates and his edge work.
Yeah.
It's different. He's a risk taker. There's a reason why it's taken him a while to get, find his place in either the NHL or the AHL, but it is what it is. But hey, enough about this guy. Enough about this guy. It's all about the fans, okay? It's Locked On Canucks. We're here only because of you, okay? Only because of you. I got here because of Trevor, but then I realized quickly that, dude, we're nothing without the comments, the fans, the likes, the subscriptions, and just the energy, man. Like me or hate me, it's Go Canucks Go. It is what it is. The first comment comes from Jay Bach. Bakut? I don't even know how to say this word, okay? I think he's giving us the pronunciation or the enunciation, I'm sorry, of Elias and
Elias. He's trying to say Elias.
Elias. And I think maybe I've been saying it wrong.
Well,
Have I?
here's the thing. So I think the reason why a lot of fans are confused as well is because this happened when Patterson first came to Vancouver. Reporters asked, "How do you pronounce your name?" And the Swedish way to do it was Elias Pettersson,
Yeah.
but he said he liked Elias Peterson as the
Oh,
English version. So it
okay.
feels like we've kind of combined both of those. Like we're saying Elias Pettersson. So yeah,
Yeah.
Jay is right. I think Elias Pettersson, or maybe I'm butchering that last part, but it
Elias.
had a bit of a sh sound to it when you
Elias.
pronounce it in Swedish.
Okay, so am I saying it right? Elias? Elias?
Elias, yeah.
And I've been saying Elias sometimes, right? But I feel
Yeah,
like I've been
exactly. Yeah, I've been
so
doing it too.
dude, but you can't do it. You're a part-time reporter, man. Come on, bro. Step it up, bro. You got kids, bro. Come
Yeah,
on,
that's true. That's
Banksy.
true. Hey, this
Come on,
is
bro.
I'm covering 2 games this week. Tonight against
There,
Vegas and Thursday against San Jose. It's my last 2 games of the
there you
season.
go.
So,
So thanks.
you want to end on a high. I don't want to be in that scrum and say Elias. I want to say Elias, you
There
know?
you go, bro. So Jay just saved saved your family for real. You just put bacon on Trevor's table, okay? For real. For real. Then we got this one too. I asked if there's 5 better players in hockey than EP40. Someone from Sweden. Shout out to Sweden, man. We have more fans in Sweden than we do in Surrey. If you think about it. That's crazy. That's unbelievable. This person, well, what's her name again? Sorry, Everett. Everett Anderson said that I don't know if this is a male or female. You know, I don't know. That this person said that they don't think so. They don't think that there's 5 better players than Pettersson. Well, yeah, you know what I'm saying? There's not more than 5 players better than Pettersson, and there probably is a Swedish bias to that. But dude, the guy's playing unreal. It's a damn shame that we're not going to see this guy play competitive games down the stretch here. But hey, there's always next year, right?
There's always next year. Now, Kyle, when I was doing my piece on Quinn Hughes this morning, I was looking at the Athletics game score value added model, and basically takes offensive, defensive numbers, on ice stats, kind of expected goal stats, and has a list of the best players in the game today. Elias
There you go,
Pettersson
dude.
ranks 6th overall in the NHL right now. So,
Yeah.
according to a pretty analytical model that I'm a big fan of, he's the 6th best player in the NHL this season. So maybe not quite top 5, but apparently the only guys better than him are Connor McDavid, Matthew Tkachuk, Jason Robertson, and David Pastrnak. And Adam Fox is actually tied with him at 3.9 game score value added. So was Elias Pettersson? Now I'm swearing. Now I'm pronouncing his name wrong. Oh, it's going downhill, man. My
We
goodness.
gotta get out of here, man. We've
Gotta get out of here. Another
forward to
episode of
this
Locked
one.
On Canucks. It's done. It's done. Yeah, I'll work on my Elias Pettersson pronunciation and try not to swear because it's a family show.
Yeah, it is. It is. No, we got the bleep there, and it is what it is. We're learning here, and again, we just appreciate everyone watching and all the new subscribers. And again, I'll say it for the second time: like us or hate us, it's Go Canucks Go.
Let's go, Canucks go. And we want to thank you for listening to this episode of Locked On Canucks, your team every day. Now make your second listen game to game. Locked On NHL. Every moment, every performance, every result. Locked On Game to Game covers every game from across Locked On NHL with local analysis that only Locked On can deliver. Follow Game to Game on Locked On NHL, available on the Odyssey app, YouTube, and wherever you get podcasts. I'm Trevor Beggs. He's Kyle Bhawan. And we thank you kindly for listening to this episode of Locked On Canucks.
Your Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.